really been going through this. I've been keeping up with it, but I haven't gone through this for a couple of different reasons. This isn't my avenue for the most part. Number one, there are people that we're talking about theme park and kind of that stuff. You need to be following Park Hopping and Jay Junk 3PO. He's been all over this. He has some insider information, but he's been all over this particular topic. However, the reason why I wanted to go through it is just a little bit of a different take. And you have to look at these things for what it is they are. And sometimes there's little nuggets and stuff that gets left that sees kind of where we're going to be in the future. Okay, so you can look at that and say, well, if this came out or this was released X amount of years ago, this wouldn't have went the way that it did. So because it's going this way, maybe it's something that signifies a change in the approach to the, well, not just the theme park world, but Disney at large. So this is, let's just talk about it. So you seen this, and I'm covering this from the SF Gate. So this Galactic Star Cruiser hotel shit. You've seen it. If you haven't, again, go look at Ryan's covered this. Of course, Drunk 3BO has been over it more than anybody because this is right up his avenue. This is what he does. But Ryan has covered this as well, and some other guys that are in our kind of space, and covering this absolute disaster of a situation. And what this is, for those of you that really like me, I watch a lot of Star Wars content, but I'm not a Star Wars guy. But this is supposed to be this sort of immersive kind of Star Wars experience. It's called the Galactic Star Cruiser. So, of course, they have these rooms, and this is kind of an inside look on it. You see these rooms, but a lot of it, and the general consensus, I would say, among a lot of people that aren't chilling for the stuff, not the fucking people who depend on getting access to the theme parks and early access so they can share the shit on their channel. Not those people. I'm talking about the people that are looking at it objectively. They feel like it's not Star Wars at all. Some of it is a little cringe and all of that. But this is the Galactic Star Cruiser. You go in, you're supposed to get this immersive experience. The reason why this looks like shit, the rooms look like absolute dog shit, is because they don't want you spending time in there. They want you going to the other stuff and seeing everything that they have to offer in this sort of immersive Star Wars experience. However, what we're seeing is, I remember when it was first announced, we saw that there were a bunch of people that were signing up for it, of course. Despite it being, what is it, like 5 racks? Yeah, it's like 5 racks. Depending on how many of you are going, but it's like 5 fucking racks. And apparently all these people bought it, and then they were basically issuing, or rather canceling their reservations, because they saw all the information that was coming out, and it was like, why on earth would I pay X amount of thousands of dollars to pay for this dog shit? So as noted here, those cancellations are happening, stuff is opening up, and it seems to be that they are having an issue selling some of this stuff out. And as it mentions now, it's not even close to selling out. Which, now, yeah, you think that, I guess looking at it from an outside perspective, you're like, what's the big deal? But in the same respects, considering something of this magnitude attached to this property shouldn't have ever been in the case. You should have been like nearly impossible to get in. Not anymore. Guess who checked the Start Planning Your Voyage page will nearly have their pick of dates through the second half of 2022. Almost every day in August, September, October, November, and December is available. There are still voyages in June and July too, including a number of weekends. So you can basically pick almost every day up to the latter half of the summer. And in the summer, there's still some days that you can pick. The immersive Star Wars experience opened up March 1st. For 2 adults, the starting price is about $5,000. For 3 adults and 1 child, it's nearly $6,000. Guess must book a 2-night stay, which includes admission to the Hollywood Studios on the second day to visit the Star Wars land, Galaxy's Edge. Reviews have been generally positive. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. They have not been generally positive. Anybody that's been keeping it up, and I think that's what a lot of this stuff depends on. See, a lot of y'all look at it in a doom and gloom kind of black pill situation where you think all the mega corporations and the overlords that now own all these properties just forever going to be at the top and there's nothing going to ever take them down because they got this massive pool of money. Well, I would have agreed with that situation historically. I think now because of the technological age that we're in, there's a lot less people that are in the ignorance of a lot of this. And there's still a bunch of normies out there. Don't get me wrong. There's still going to be plenty of those. But it's less than it had been before because now people are attached to their phones, which are basically mini little computers now. And you can see stuff and you can see people's perspective and you can get more information on what it is that you want as opposed to just depending on, magazines or the newspapers or the news in itself. Or what interviews that had been done that were done for whatever, TV show or something, to get the information upon what you were spending your dollar on. See, those days are beyond us. Now, I think that this wasn't necessarily something that was for people that were fans of Star Wars. Like, the cost in itself shows that. But I think it's more of rich people that think Star Wars is interesting. And I think a lot of this stuff is people that are wealthy or have enough money to do stuff, or people that are broke that want to say that they did some shit in this regards. But actual core audience Star Wars people, this isn't something that was built with them certainly in mind, it doesn't seem. Says most reviewers noted that people who aren't willing to let go of self-consciousness and engage fully in the storylines probably won't find the experience worth it. Well, kind of that's the point. You got to go in. You're supposed to be immersive. You're supposed to kind of just lose yourself in that sense. You look at it I'm in the Star Wars universe per se, and you try to make it believable. You leave no semblance of the real world kind of. You leave all that, let's say, behind. The hotel is supposed to replicate a galactic Star Cruiser line called the Halcyon, or the Halcyon, excuse me. And a lodging are small and only have windows looking out onto a screen replicating outer space. So you ain't even got no windows. Reviewers liken them to a windowless bunker and a suburban junior high school built in the mid-1970s. It also lacks amenities usually expected in hotels at this price point, like a pool and spa. Well, that's because as they're trying to show you, it's more about they're going to make it as uncomfortable for you as possible because the whole thing they're trying to sell is the experience. Like, oh, look at me, I'm in the Star Wars universe type shit. And this is that Gaia chick, apparently some galactic superstar who sings and shit. And you've seen how cringy that shit was and whatnot. Praise has been effusive for the character actors who populate the Star Cruiser. However, along with Rey, Kylo Ren, and Chewbacca, guests meet a cast of cruise ship workers who encourage them to fight for the Resistance and take on secret missions. Reviewers tend to agree that the astronomical cost is about paying for the experience, not the rooms themselves. I think that's fair enough, of course. I don't think that in itself is a secret at all. But that's the thing, though, is that if you're going to sell the experience, you have to make it Star Wars for that audience. Like, for that particular audience, you have to make it Star Wars. Selling an experience to, again, snobby rich folk, they're not going to have any fun with it. So at that point, I don't know who this shit is for. Because if it's not for the Star Wars people, and then you're selling the experience, it's not for the rich, snobby people, which would be the only people that were going to pay for it, then who the fuck is this shit for? Yeah, of course, it's a big LARP. I mean, obviously it's a big LARP, but still, who the fuck is it for? It's not a LARP for Star Wars fans. Look, I'm all for immersive experiences. I'm definitely in any form of escapism. Like I'm for people being able to kick the fuck back and just chill and get lost in some stuff and not worry about the real world for, in this case, 2 days. I'm all for that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm not making fun of that. I think this is something that is worth having. But who is it for? If it's not for Star Wars cats, and then again, because you're selling the experience and not the room, then and the amenities that come along with it, then who the fuck are you selling this shit to? And this is what's lost in the mega corporation, and why your brands that you love and know and care about are all, for the most part, if they're creating new materials, dead on arrival. It doesn't matter if it's a movie, doesn't matter if it's a theme park, doesn't matter what it is, it's DOA, right? They'll find a way to botch it. But it's because now it's just, okay, I'm going to slap the brand on this. And yeah, we'll have some atmospheric stuff that kind of gives you the idea that this might possibly be Star Wars, or might possibly be Marvel, or might possibly be something DC related. But really, all these are just mega corporate entities trying to like do whatever goofy thing that some vision, some fucking weirdo had. And then they're just slapping the fucking name on there, slapping the brand on there, and then they expect you to pay for it. But again, I think the day and age where you could get away with something like that, I think is beyond us, just because of the serious amount of information that's out there. Like, you have the drunk 3POs of the world that can just tell you before you spend a dime, like, this is what you fucking get. And you're like, whoa, shit, I paid $5,000 for what? Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm fucking out of here. They have like these different, like, what do they have? Some Star Wars some lightsaber training shit. If I'm not mistaken, that was pretty fucking cringy. It's not even actual lightsaber training. They have some kind of cringy fights between, for all you guys who thought that Filoni and Favreau were going to save and retcon, I guess, Star Wars out of the existence. They doubled down on these fucking sequels that y'all hate so fucking much. Again, they mentioned some of the big role players and that are going to be on the goddamn ship. So much for that. It's almost like that's not going to happen. So I ask again, why the fuck are you continuing to give this company the benefit of the doubt? It's a brand that you know and love. They're slapping the name on, and maybe, just maybe it's a white pill. Maybe it's people seeing this for what it is and it's like, look, I don't need this. I don't have to continue to spend my money on this brand just because of nostalgia. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.